Listen to Desiree's Baby by Kate Chopin, Level B2, Oxford Reading University.
As the day was fairly pleasant, Madame Valmond drove over to Labri to see Desiree and the baby. It was a funny thought. Desiree having a child. Not very long ago, it seemed, she was a child herself. Many years ago, Monsieur Valmond found a young girl sleeping under a large tree. When she woke up, she stretched out her arms and said, "Dada!" Some people thought she had run away from her home and got lost. However, most locals believed that she had been left there on purpose. In any case, Madame Valmond accepted her gladly. She did not have her own children, therefore she treated the girl as a gift from God. The girl grew up gentle and beautiful, and everyone admired her. No wonder that 18 years later, Armand Aubigny saw her under that same tree and fell in love. Everyone in the Aubigny family fell in love like that, suddenly as if shot from a gun. The passion in his heart was as powerful as a forest fire. Monsieur Valmond was a practical man. Once, while talking to Armand, he pointed out that they did not know anything about the girl's parents or relatives. It did not bother Armand at all. She would be one of the Aubignys, a respected family. He arranged a beautiful wedding ceremony, and then they were married. When Madame Valmond arrived at Labri, she was, as usual, slightly upset at the sight of the house. It lacked the care and attention of Armand's mother, who had died years ago. It was a sad-looking place. Armand was also much crueler with his black slaves than his father had been. Unlike his son, old Monsieur Aubigny had been fairly kind to black people. When Madame Valmond entered, Desiree lay on the couch with the baby sleeping on her chest. Zandrine, the half-black nurse, was sitting by the window. Madame Valmond bent down to kiss Desiree, then looked at the child. She hardly recognized him. "This can't be the baby," she cried. "He has grown and changed a lot since the last time you saw him," laughed Desiree. "Look how long the nails on his fingers are." Madame Valmond picked up the child and brought him to the window. She examined his face carefully, then looked at Zandrine. "Yes, he has changed. What does Armand say?" she asked. "He is the proudest father. I think it's because we have a boy. He says that he would have loved a girl just as much. But surely he's lying," replied Desiree. She then added in a lower voice, "And he hasn't punished any of the slaves since the baby was born. Armand is so calm and cheerful that it frightens me." It was true. Marriage and the birth of the baby softened Armand's character. It made Desiree truly happy. She loved him with all her heart. Therefore, his mood was always reflected in hers. Whenever he was upset, she grew frightened. Whenever he smiled, she could breathe more freely. Fortunately, he had been in high spirits since the day he fell in love with her. One night, Desiree woke up with a heavy feeling. Something in the atmosphere was bothering her. Desiree felt like her peaceful days would soon be over. Then came an odd change in her husband's manner. When he spoke to her, he looked away, and his eyes were no longer shining with love. Armand was rarely home, and he tried to avoid seeing the child. He became crueler with the slaves than he had ever been. Desiree was so miserable she could die. One hot afternoon, she sat in her room, looking at the sleeping baby. One of the servants, a half-black boy, stood by the baby's bed. He was waving a fan over the child to cool him down. Desiree sat silently, trying to solve the mystery of her husband's sudden and violent change in attitude. At one point, she looked at the servant boy, then at the baby, then back at the boy. Suddenly, the blood froze in her veins. Later that day, she tried talking to Armand. "Look at our child," she cried, taking him by the arm. "What does it mean? Tell me, what is it all about? Why does he look so much like our servant?" Gently but coldly, Armand released his arm and pushed her away.
"It means that our child is not white. It means that you are not white,"
he said in a low voice. It can't be true. My eyes are gray, and my skin is extremely pale, even in comparison to yours.
Your skin is as pale as the servant boy's,
Armand replied, and left the room. When Desiree's hand stopped shaking, she wrote a letter to Madame Valmond. My mother, they tell me I'm not white. Armand has told me that. This can't be true. Tell me that it's a lie. I shall die. I must die. I cannot be so unhappy and live. The answer from Madame Valmond said the following. My dear Desiree, come home to Valmond, back to your mother who loves you dearly. Come with your child. When the letter was delivered, Desiree entered her husband's office and placed it on his desk. Should I move out? She asked. Do you want me to leave?
Yes, I want you to leave,
He replied coldly. Armand felt cheated. It was as if God had played a cruel trick on him. He did not even love his wife anymore. He was disappointed and upset that she had brought such shame upon his family name. Desiree turned away and walked toward the door, hoping till the last moment that Armand would call her and apologize. When she said goodbye, he did not answer. That was the most painful thing of all. Desiree took the child from the nurse and went outdoors. It was an October afternoon. The sun was slowly sinking. She did not take the path that led to the Valmonds. Instead, she headed toward the banks of the river. The mud stuck to her white dress, but Desiree did not care. She disappeared among the trees that grew by the river and never came back. Some weeks later, the locals could witness a curious scene at Labri. A great fire was lit in the middle of the yard. Armand Aubigny stood near and handed different items to his slaves. They threw the stuff into the fire. A neat baby's bed was already burning, and a dress had been thrown into the fire some minutes before. Tiny hats and expensive clothes served as fuel for the flame. The last thing to be destroyed was a pack of letters, innocent notes that Desiree wrote to Armand while they were engaged. Only one letter was left at the back of the cupboard. It wasn't from Desiree, though. It was part of an old letter from his mother to his father. Night and day, I am grateful to God. He has arranged our lives in such a way that our dear Armand will never know that his mother, who loves him so much, belongs to the race of slaves.
You will find thousands of amazing audiobooks in English to help you read, listen, and improve your English skills in the Eva app. Choose your level and favorite genre and enjoy the world's best sellers. If you don't know a word, just click on it to see the translation and transcription. Go to appewa.com today. I know you watch our videos, but why aren't you subscribed to our channel yet? Yes, you, join our community. And here's another useful audiobook in English for you.